How you doing, guys? If you hear the little cat in the background, it's just a neighbor's friend. Yeah, there he is, little ginger cat, very cute. Anyways, just wanted to give you a look at this quadcopter. It's a very common frame, but the way we put it together is very specific for making stabilized videos or just flying FPV. I'll show you a closer look just now, but the idea is this quad is meant for easy travels. We have a backpack that this can hook onto, and you can have everything in your backpack. I'll show you that in another video. And you can also put this in a hard case, a relatively small one, that you can take on an aeroplane with you, which is what I've done quite recently. You can see, if you look at my last quite of my last few videos that I've put up, I've used this quadcopter exclusively, so the one at the game reserve, those videos, the ones at the dog park, and a few other ones like that. So let's have a closer look at this. This is our travel quadcopter that we are going to be selling. We've already sold a few of these, especially at the game reserve. The owner gave us permission to fly there, and he was very interested in this, and a few other people were also interested in it. So let's have a look a bit closer. And you can see I've got LED strips along the arms, both the front and the back. The front I've got it as white, and then the back I've got red and green, so you can tell direction if you're doing a bit of night flying or late afternoon flying. I've got the collapsible antenna for the GPS, so it's nice and compact, and then I've got a little antenna thing here for the receiver. It's not collapsible, but all you have to do is pop off this little plastic thing. It's very easy, and then store it away, and then your antenna cable can just lie down. Now the reason I've got it up is because I've got these two, one here and one there, satellite receivers, and yes, this is the orange receiver. I've been testing it out. This is the 9-channel. It still works on DSM-2. I'm going to upgrade and test the new DSM-X. I think it's an 8-channel. But usually when we ship it, we've got a few different options. Obviously, the cheaper ones will be with either the orange system or with the Tyrannus radio, and then that's a slightly different one. And then the more expensive ones go to the Futaba radios and the Spectrum radios. But they're all very good. I'm at the moment using Spectrum on this one with the orange receiver. Okay, so let's have a look at the setup. We've got 2216 motors is the size, and we've got a few different setups. We've got this running on a 4-cell setup at the moment. We're running a 3700, single 3700 that slots in the back here, comes all the way in. And it also gives the option to run your battery at the top over here, which is why we have that. And you can also run batteries in parallel, so you can have one in the back and then one on top, which I've done with my smaller packs. Then we have a little voltage regulator over here, which will control going from 4S down to whatever voltage you need. I need specifically 12 volts for a lot of the electronics, so I've reduced that, and you can play around with this. Now we are using the DJI Ionizer version 2, but you can use your DJI Lite. We've also got the OSD connected to this one, which is why we went with this. Makes it very nice, especially when flying FPV. I highly recommend the OSD, especially the one by DJI, because it just hooks up directly to the same GPS through the whole system. You don't need another GPS. So it really depends what you want to do, but there's different options. It's not that expensive, especially relating to the other ones that have GPS. We've got our little FPV camera sitting over here, and our transmitter sitting over there with a cloverleaf antenna. Okay, must have for 5.8 gigahertz, and you can change that. We're running carbon reinforced propellers which have been balanced. You don't really need carbon fiber props, but you can get them if you want. You don't really lose much efficiency. These arms are a little bit too flexible for our liking, which is why we don't use them anymore. We used much more rigid arms, either the DJI or there's one other brand that makes really good ones. So we've been testing a lot with these. We've got a little distribution board inside for all the ESCs sitting in the bottom, running your Simon Cave software, and then we got our little stabilizer. Now we've put these longer legs on to put the stabilizer on the bottom. We've had it on top before. It works well on both configurations. I think we're going to go back to the one where it sits on top, because then you don't need these long legs, and it's a lot more compact to travel with. And then finally, as you can see from our videos, you get very, very nice stable footage, and a lot of them were done in some heavy winds, so it'll be interesting how this works. The next test that we're going to do is we're going to take this off and we're going to put it directly inside here, so that it'll sit right next to this camera and be stabilized. So we're going to try a few different configurations like that. It's very similar to the Team Black Sheep version, except a lot cheaper and simpler. So if it works and you get stable video footage, then that is how we're going to be shipping these ones with the stabilizers. The only downside of having it there is you can't have a 3-axis stabilizer, which we do offer as well. And then for that we would either put it on the bottom again or on the top. These legs are not very expensive, and they actually offer, just from the design, because there's a little slit over here that's open, allows for a bit of flexibility. So if you have a hard landing, it works great. So anyways, this is our quad that we've been flying recently, that we've been traveling with. Flies really well. As I mentioned, you've got the LEDs for night flying. You can put those on yourselves. I think it'll work out cheaper for you, but we can do that too. And then just to let you know, apart from the stable footage here, even with some of the vibration that we've been getting through these arms because they're a bit soft, there is no jello coming out of our camera when doing FPV. We did upgrade this lens, which we do with all our cameras, because it's only a little bit extra and it's well worth it. But this camera has got absolutely no jello whatsoever, and we're getting a very, very nice image. The video goggles we're using are the Fat Shark Dominators, and we're soon to be getting the new version of the Fat Shark Dominator version 2, the HD version, and we'll do a review on those as well. We also offer, with LCDs that have integrated 5.8 gigahertz receivers, or just the LCDs on their own. So it all depends what you want to do with it. If you want to fly FPV, if you just want to fly these things around without FPV, if you want to have stabilized video footage with your GoPro, we offer anything to meet your needs. Just as a final note, as a tip, as I mentioned in the video description, these sensor wires, these are not the more expensive stabilizers that cost you, $300, $400, $500, if not more, depending on the brand. These are the slightly cheaper ones, but cheaper doesn't mean that it doesn't give you good footage, as you can see. I've tested the better ones with the more expensive ones. The footage is exactly the same, so it saves you about 70 grams with the other ones, but that's about it, and it's not much. So the tip is basically, because these have this sensor wire, whereas the other ones don't, those do have an advantage, but you can fix any issues. What I found is, if you use cable ties to tie this, and you can see I've actually got a loose one over here, loose cable. If you use a cable tie and it's a little bit too tight, then eventually it just crimps these wires. They're very, very sensitive, and then it doesn't work. After a while it just doesn't work anymore. So what you want to do is either leave it loose, or be very careful when you cable tight. You don't want it to hold it tight. You just need to loop it through whatever area it's sitting, and you want to have nothing binding. Okay, when we send these through, we send it through with a few extra of these wires, just in case that happens, because it's about a $1 part, and it kind of sucks if you're out in the field and then it just doesn't work. I've had that happen to me once. Since then I've bought plenty of these and carry them with me all the time, and since then, even when I'm running it loose like this, never had one issue. Anyways guys, thanks for watching. Check the link below if you want to order one of these, or the more professional, larger size ones. Anything, we can build it. We build it, test it, make sure it works, and we give you guys a tutorial on how to fly these and how to maintain them, which is something that's really lacking. If you want to see some more videos, then you can check out our channel. We do the flights as well. So if you just want us to come and do a video for you, we do that as well. You can check us out on our website. We've got our USA base and South African base. We're at the moment doing videos around South Africa, as you can see from the game reserve. And yeah, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. See you next time. Ciao.